What's going on, everyone? We've got a video for today because I've been getting a lot of questions about a specific piece of more free-to-play style gear that a lot of us recommended before some of the changes in the game. And we're talking non-double S gear. Take, for example, the Icy Bubble or the Guardian's Ring or maybe the Nomad Bow or whatever non-S piece of gear that you might have been using in your build. Any of them, even, the tunic, if that's something that you were running or whatever it is. With the new updates, are these even a viable option? And TLDR here, guys, the answer is not really. Not really. Now, the still initial process of, okay, I just started out the game, I'm going for, this build, or that's kind of what I want to go for. Get your double S weapon, get your double S ring, or your not double S, your single S weapon, single S ring that are matching your build, and definitely try to go that direction. In the meantime, there should be no shame in upgrading a Guardian's Ring or Icy Bubble or whatnot, right? These are still going to be very useful. And I will say, as an additional caveat before I talk more about this, there's one bigger exception to the random, non-S gear, and that is the Icy Bubble. Giving the basic attack's chance to trigger icy spikes is still one of the more powerful abilities, even in a realm where we have all these brand new upgrades. But in the case of, other rings or other weapons or other armor pieces, etc., we are now in the realm of double S gear. And that has changed the landscape of things. It's also one of the reasons why we've changed the landscape of beginner builds, what people are going for, and why. The huge part about this is that these are really, honestly, decently free-to-play viable as well. And I think that's what a lot of people miss. Take, for example, me right now. I've been playing the game for, 8-9 months at this point, and I've got 3 double S equipments. I'm working on my 4th. If you've been playing every single martial arts tournament and you didn't miss out on one like I did, you would be at 4 double S equipments. Pretty solid. There's only 6 in the game, right? If you started the game maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you would also have 4 double S equipments. It's just how it goes. Because it's time gated, as long as you start the game and you prioritize those divine weapon cubes, you're going to be able to get to double S equipment relatively fast. And the other part about that is that you could upgrade your single S equipment into double S equipment at the legendary level. And even at the legendary level, it is still going to benefit you massively. Take, for example, the brand new rings, giving you a ton of work towards whatever build that you're looking for. For me, it's Sky Splitter. I'm getting a massive sword aura damage, a massive amount of additional attack, and an extra ability that applies to my combo hits. Keep in mind that if you weren't to go for these double S equipments, you would still be sitting at a legendary version of, let's say, Guardian's Ring or Icy Bubble or whatever other piece of gear you're using. So it's not going to be particularly strong anyways. But what this also allows you to do is build towards that specific build and utilize all the double S equipment out there. That's the key. With the addition of new rings, new accessories, new weapons, and all that stuff in terms of double S. And the more we get, the more and more important this is going to be. You can't be sitting on Guardian's Ring and Icy Bubble for the entirety of the game anymore. It's just too important to get to the transcendent effects. Now, as I said, Icy Bubble is one of the exceptions. However, every other piece of gear, for the most part, as soon as you have the ability to get a gear to double S, you should be using that double S because they are just so much more powerful for your overall build. Icy Bubble should be the last one that you upgrade because it's still useful in its base state, and the other accessories that you're going to have aren't going to be as useful. But what this also means is that to go for an early mythic rush, which is one of the other examples that we talked about, or one of the strategies that we talked about as a free-to-play player, on Guardian's Ring or Icy Bubble is probably not the game plan. In fact, I have completely stopped going for a mythic Icy Bubble, and I'm just going to be going for mythic Bloody Grail, and then mythic whatever other accessory that I'm going to be getting for this build. That's kind of the game plan. So unfortunately, at the current moment, they really are pretty garbage. You really shouldn't be using it. And especially so when it comes to weapon and armor, as again, the double S variants are so massively big upgrades. And this isn't even including when you start working on psychic attributes, which you may even be able to get to before you even get to mythic full build, as I probably will be able to get to, well, mythic full build not super far away, maybe missing a ring or an accessory here, but I'll start to be in that spot where I don't need divine weapon cubes to double S my gear. Instead, I'm working on the psionic attributes or psychic attributes, whatever it's called. I think it's psionic, which upgrades your gear and weapons even further. And so there isn't really any non-S equipment that's actually viable anymore. There are some specific niche scenarios, although I have not seen updated testing on it, where like Nomad Bow was better in Seal game mode, etc. Things like that, because of their unique multipliers and what they're actually offering. But that makes your life not only extremely complicated to be able to try to swap for specific game modes, but also you may actually have to build additional parts to that to make that Nomad Bow function. And that can be a whole added other cost, which is pretty rough, especially considering we are talking about a free-to-play sort of strategy here, where we're trying to minimum and maximize our resource expenditure and resource gain. And double S equipment is going to do that for you. It's going to allow you to set up a build that's going to be a huge bonus in the mid game and early game because of the double S bonus, but then also transition into an extremely powerful late game build as well. And that is something that you really cannot say about your single or non-S rather equipment. And this also technically applies to the S equipment that is not a double S variant, which is a little side note. Not that you really were using the single S equipment that doesn't have double S versions, because a lot of that was weak in general, but all these other pieces of gear, man, let me get out of that spot. But all these other pieces of gear, like the Blade of Justice, Sky Splitter, all that stuff, all viable because they have double S variants, armor pieces, rings, etc. But there are some, accessories out there, some weapons out there, weapons specifically, that do not have double S variants. And so take, for example, one of my original beginner build guides, and what a lot of other people mentioned was Angel Bow. I don't think Angel Bow is a realistic option to go for anymore, even in the swap ticket era, which we made a video on that previously, because you have to get it to Mythic before you could double S it by swapping it to whatever you want. And in that meantime, you're missing out on so much progression. So it's not just that non-S equipment has faded out, but also single S equipment has also pretty much faded out because of the double S variants. And mind you, this is going to get even more extreme as we go along. Although on another note, we may have just all weapons have double S variants, so you can kind of go wherever you want. And that would be the dream. That would be the dream, at least. That said, I'm also hoping for some new gear pieces, armor, and weapons, and things like that, that maybe I can, change it up a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Definitely past the realm of Guardian's Ring and Icy Bubble at this point, and, well, that's kind of what you're seeing here. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all for the next one.